Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Spiritual Dowsey. I'm Dowsey LeMay. I hope you guys are doing okay. I want to say thank you to all you beautiful souls out there that have been following me, subscribing, and watching my videos, as well as following me on my other platforms at Facebook and Instagram at Spiritual Dowsey. So thank you for your love and support. And if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I hope that they're useful. I hope that they're beneficial and they're used for your highest good as you go along. So today I want to talk about a particular theme that has been showing up in a lot of the discussions that I've been having with people, a lot of the dialogue that I've been having in group sessions and healing sessions, and perhaps give my perspective on that so that you may be able to move through your own internal filter system on this information to help you find an easier way to transition it. So before I go any further, know that these are my truths. These are my experiences that have guided me down my own spiritual path. They don't have to be yours, so use your own discernment. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Okay, just keep an open mind. So the topic at hand, a lot of the conversations that I've been having, this particular theme has been popping up, is that one of which somebody is holding on to the emotional, empathic feeling that from the experience of what other people may be having. So the example would be like someone who's out there dying from COVID-19, alone in their deathbed, in the hospital, and this person or the people I've been talking to feel so heartbroken, feel so much pain and suffering for those who are experiencing those kind of things. And so I want to talk about that particular thing, because I think my perspective on this, although I want to be careful about my perspective, I don't want it to come off very callous. I don't want it to come off very apathetic. I feel like that, don't believe that I don't have any emotional or I'm very disconnected from this reality. I am very much compassionate. I am very much empathetic to the things that are happening. I just have a different perspective on things that allows me to be a lot more, I would say, centered within myself rather than being completely overwhelmed or inundated with the sorrow and pain that potential other groups may be experiencing, okay? When it comes to you feeling the heartache and the pain of, let's say, a said group of people, in this case, a bunch of people dying on their beds alone in the hospital because of COVID-19 or coronavirus, whatever it is, I think there's a couple things that one should consider before you decide to move down that intention of feeling all that sorrow and heartache. Number one, there is, in my belief, an intention via the soul, via the higher self, via the oversoul, the soul that is incarnated through you, to have a life experience, right? You are designed via your soul and all on the spiritual aspects to you to have a physical experience in this life. And the chances is that you will not exit this life if you don't get to experience the things that you were looking for. All right. It is most likely that you have placed an intention in this life, and in that intention you are here to experience something on a physical level, whether that be betrayal, finding what love is, understanding what self-love is, understanding what it's like to care for somebody else, understanding what it's like to lose everything, what it's like, all the infinite different experiences that you can have on the physical incarnated plane. On top of placing the intention into the incarnation, it also is my belief that you have placed intentions at particular places for you to decide whether or not you want to leave the physical realm. All right? That's number one. You have placed pre-life intentions into your incarnated life, and you have placed potential exit points for you to leave after you've experienced the things that you've wanted to experience from a soul level. All right. The second thing about this is that each of us are divine beings. Okay. Each of us are creators. You're co-creating your reality with a whole bunch of other people, other creators. And your life, as much as you work on yourself, and if you were watching these videos, you would have the understanding that you are the creator as a divine being, perfectly able to create your reality, and everything is divinely perfect for what you are, because you are source. You are source experiencing itself through itself, and therefore you have the divine right and the divine perfection to create whatever it is that you want. That being said, those other co-creators are, in essence, perfectly divinely timed for their experience that they need to have for themselves. And so when it comes to another soul, another being, another sentient being, if you will, another co-creator who's going through the experience of dying on their bed alone, doesn't necessarily equate to it being a negative experience. It doesn't necessarily equate to being something bad. Per your perspective of thinking that something is good and something is bad. What if that soul was needed to have that experience so that, one, they have an exit point, but two, they fulfilled all their pre-life intentions, and this was their soul's choice to decide to leave at this time. So whose right is it for you as another creator, another source sentient being, to interfere with the divinity of that person's life by deeming it and judging it to be bad or good? Is it thrust upon you to interfere with someone else's creation just because you think it's something bad or good, right? Just because you think that this is terrible and this person shouldn't be dying alone, and et cetera, et cetera. Is that truly within your power, and is it truly loving? Is it truly loving to deny that other soul's experience, which is divinely perfect and divinely chosen by that soul? I particularly say in some cases that is not the case. That soul chose to come into this life. That soul chose to exit at this point. And sometimes it's not for us to judge someone else's creation. It doesn't mean you can't be passionate. It just means that you have another level of compassion for a soul that has made a pre-life intention and has had a pre-life exit point, that this could be being honored via this experience that this person's having in a deathbed. The other aspect to this is that you all know is that we as creators are magnetizing into our experience things that are an exact match to what we're holding on to help us catalyze us to look inward, to help us catalyze us towards understanding more about who we are and finding the aspect of us that is source. Perhaps another insight is that that person's death, via the divinity and the perfect divine timing of that soul, was needed to catalyze other souls into a direction that is more aligned with searching inward, to find more peace and love for them. Maybe there was a pre-life intention between these different souls to say that we need you to be able to die or exit at this point so that I can be catalyzed to understand myself via the experience of having you die and feeling like I was abandoned, or feeling like you died and you caused me to be catalyzed into the identity that there's more to life than me working 9 to 5, not caring about only caring about money and materialism. Maybe that death was there to cause other people to go on a spiritual path, to wake up, right? We forget about all these other things because we're so limited in our view to think only linear. We only think about here to there, and that time is only this, and that space is between point A and point B. It's not. Our souls are eternal, right? And so my perspective on this is that your soul is playing all these games in your life, which is just a blink of an eye compared to a soul that is eternal. It's just having an experience. It has pre-life intentions that it wants to experience, and then it chooses when it wants to exit. But at the same time, via the law of attraction, via the divinity creative power that is the creator, you magnetize certain experiences in your life that are drawn to help you catalyze the things that you're having. So this person dying on their bed alone is having many different things that are occurring beyond than what you are experiencing on yourself. If you're feeling sorrow and heartache, you may be missing the fact that this was a pre-life intention. You may be missing the fact that this life was an exit point for this soul. You may be missing the point that this soul was designed to die at this time to catalyze a whole bunch of people and to also potentially catalyze the restructuring of the healthcare system. But because we are linear and we get stuck into the human container and we think about fear and separation and hurt and pain, we contract our energy and it doesn't allow us to think as far as we would like to think. All right. The last thing I want to say about this that may offer you a particular insight to maybe if you're feeling this in your own world is that what you are doing in potential is that when you are looking at someone and their experience of what they're having, laying in the deathbed and maybe that they're alone, you are taking on potential heartache and pain and soul, the sorrow and all that stuff from this experience. That experience is causing you to feel something. And what you have done is, as a creator, it's created a construct, right? You have created a belief about what these people are experiencing and put it on yourself, okay? So as a creator, you've taken the burden, if you will, from the experience of this group of people or whoever is dying, and have placed that pain and suffering within yourself. And you've taken that into your energetic field. The thing about that is, what you have decided to take on as an energetic, emotional, mental, dense energy is one that is based on your own construct, your own perspective of what that potential pain and suffering is for that individual. And then number two is that doesn't necessarily equate to what that soul is actually experiencing. What do I mean by that? Okay. You go out and you see these people who are all hurt and sick and dying, and they are in pain per your perspective, per your lens. What you are experiencing from this experience is what you are taking on the information, and then you've done is made a judgment call about that. You made a judgment call about how that person or how these group of people are feeling, and you are taking on the empathic, I would say the pain, the suffering, the heartache, and then you've placed it on yourself. You've placed it on yourself, but you do not know whether or not that truth of what you've placed on yourself is the actual experience that soul is going through. Sometimes those experiences, what you have put on, is not what that soul experience is for that other person. In fact, most cases, it's not. You are taking on what your own definition is of that experience and have placed it on yourself as a dense energy, as a collective energy, and it's based only on your perspective. It's not exactly equating to what that soul is actually truly experiencing, right? A lot of times what you hear about in these pre-death situations, or if you ever talk to mediums who talk to people to people who've transitioned, and they've talked to people and they've communicated messages back to their loved ones in the physical world. A lot of the times people will say, you've heard people saying, I was never able to leave that person's bedside. And the minute they walked away, that person ended up dying. Because most cases, the soul says, I was not able to leave the physical plane because you had me tied there. So that suffering may not necessarily be equating to them being abandoned alone. Sometimes it could just be the fact that by them dying alone, you're giving them the peace and the ability to let go. So that's another just kind of a flip to that, right? The second aspect to this is that, yes, you have taken on, say, for this particular case, COVID-19 has caused deaths and people to be suffering in their bed alone. Yet, why is it you are only doing that for this particular case? Why isn't it that you're not doing it for people who've been starving, people who die every year for the flu, people who die from car accidents, people who die from getting murdered, getting shot, etc.? There are infinite number, or not infinite, but there are many, many other ways that people are dying and suffering. Yet you don't have that experience with that particular way of dying, and that caused a lot more people to pass away than this COVID-19 at the moment. So to expand on that, you've just taken one sliver of people's transitions and placed a whole bunch of dense energy per your own definition, per your own perspective on that, on yourself, when really it doesn't really equate to what that soul is actually experiencing for themselves. So be mindful that you potentially are doing that to yourself based on your own perspective of that. And so if you are doing that, I would be highly recommend that you look inward to say, why is this triggering me so much? Why does this particular scenario make me feel so heartache, so much sorrow, so much pain? The likelihood is that there's something within you that makes you feel, that resonates with this experience. There's something that happened with you that makes you feel this pain and heartache so much, and makes you feel so sympathetic to the people that are outside of you. Because what you judge on the outside is basically what you are judging on the inside. So in these experiences that you're having, you know, these people are having pre-life intentions. They had made exit points along the way, and as well as the co-created experience of that soul, they're there to catalyze all of us into a particular path that we've been wanting to experience for a whole bunch of people. In addition, that doesn't mean that what you feel from the experience from this person dying in the bed is exactly what this person is feeling. You are only taking on the definition of which you have placed on that. It doesn't equate and doesn't transfer to exactly what that soul expression is. There are many, many different experiences from let's say, near-death experience, mediums talking to loved ones and communicating things from back and forth. In most cases, what you think is going on is vastly different than what was being experienced by that soul. So I hope that helps you. I wanted to give you a different perspective on what I sense out there and why I feel that given the construct of what we are happening today with this COVID-19 and the pain and the suffering that we're having, that a lot of this stuff happens to still be about you. And it still happens to be about how you are holding on to something and you are projecting that out into your reality. And because of it showing you as the COVID-19 and these experiences with it, it is triggering you emotionally, it is triggering you energetically to catalyze you to say, oh, is this something that you want to hold on to? Is this something that is for you to carry? If not, you need to work on yourself, heal some of the things you have, and you won't be so emotionally charged to it, and you won't need to take on these major baggage energetic things that are based on your own perspective on things. All right? So I hope that gives a little bit of insight. If you guys have questions, if you guys have concerns, if you guys have anything that you want to tell me, like comments, whatever, please do subscribe, like, comment, and reach out to me on my Facebook or Instagram at Spiritual Dowsey, or email me at spiritualdowsey@gmail.com. I love you. I hope you guys stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.